Right, we've had nearly a week to talk about it, so let's talk about the Spa 24 for a few minutes. And firstly, there were so many cautions that time around. It was wild. I mean, we had, three cars out on the first lap in the Tracer Attempto R8, one of the Walkenhorst Astons. And that was one that would have been quite good in previous years. I know the ones we lost were in silver, but when you look at the likes of Maxime Robin, you got Villa Gomez in there, Gaspard Simon. These are drivers who are quick. We lost the Paradigm 992 as well, which that was surprising, like right at the start. And not long after, you end up with the Pro-Am 70 of AF Corsa with Miguel Menina behind the wheel, as well as Vaxivier. So it was wild to see who dropped out so quickly. Because you saw lots of big names like the Get Speed Mercedes, Maxime Martin, Maximilian Goetz, and Fabian Schiller. The AMG with the likes of Adam Christodoulou behind the wheel. And then there were some people who just had such rotten luck take them out of the race as well. I'm thinking the likes of people like the Grasser Lamborghini. What is it with the Temerario? Like, it's had a good run in Detroit and IMSA, but apart from that, it's just had a horrible first season. And remember, Lamborghini got their first win in the Spa 24 last year with the final attempt with the old Huracan. When you look at the names that their cars retire, you have the Estelent Racing with Winkelhock and Hasse. I really felt for the number 58 because they were really quick. And I mean, I know I've had my iRacing run-in with Louis Pret where he unsafe rejoined me in the Porsche Cups, but the 58 was rapid. And it's just, again, something a bit like rotten luck that ends up taking them all the way down. It was a chaotic Spa 24. You had drivers dropping out left, right, and centre. Sometimes multiple places at once. At the same time, I mentioned the 58, the 59, the actual Garage 59 was another one. I mean, Dean McDonald, for a lot of last season when it came to talking about GT racing, he was just rapid. He was in a gold car, and he was fighting for the overall lead. And then the 59 would just fall apart in a way. But enough talk about the people who were unlucky down that end. Let's talk about some of the people who were able to get through without much in the way of issues. Somebody who'd be quite happy for it within the top 5 is Hanke Gerven, who ended up having the Porsche fail on him at Le Mans a couple of weeks ago. Elsewhere, you look at the AF courses that were 3rd and 5th, and you can see Nicholas Nielsen, Alessio Rivera, and Tommaso Mosca get 3rd, and the 5th place one, Lilo Wadu, Arthur Leclerc, and Sean Gallel. That is an eclectic taste of drivers, right? Lilo Wadu, who she has just proven herself time and again to be that kind of consistent, dependable driver that you want to see in motorsport. Arthur Leclerc, who's sidestepped in terms of disciplines to get out of his brother's shadow. Very capable GT racer. And Sean Gallel, who, for as much of a meme as he's ended up being, he's had such a good career in GT so far. However, the rest of the podium, you look at the Manfilter AMG and you're like, wow, they've been competitive for a while. They were competitive throughout as well. It's hardly surprising when you look at the driver lineup, you see Auer, Stoltz, and Engel. But as much as this shouldn't have been too surprising, the fact of the matter was, the winners were the ones who started, right back down the back of the grid? They started basically in the pit lane, didn't they? The 80 Lion speed, proving that you don't need to have the fastest lap in qualifying to be able to win the race, especially the 24-hour race. A lot of things can change in motorsport. And yeah, for Ricardo Feller, Thomas Preining, and Bastian Boos, it was a win. And I remember Lion Speed only really properly came to my attention last year when they were putting together their bids for GT World Challenge Europe, and they missed the first few rounds. They weren't at Mazzano. Well, I think the first time... Did they first show up at Brands? And they scaled back one of their cars out of either the Sprint or Endurance program. But well done to the team for getting the win. I mean, well done to anybody who makes it to the end really unscathed. We had 8 cars on the lead lap at the end of it. With a variety of manufacturers, including the 46 for BMW. Again, an impressive run. Valentino Rossi continuing to prove himself as a capable racing driver. We had the lead Walkenhorst Aston. Yeah. We have a nice variety of manufacturers there. Like I said, the Temeraries had some awful luck in that the best one was in 19th. I mean, heck, the Mustangs did in a way as well, because the best one at the end for them was the 65, wasn't it? And that was down in 18th. But it was a good one to sit down and watch. You could look away, look back, and something completely different was happening. There were a lot of cautions, but there weren't any red flags, were there? But those are my thoughts and feelings having watched the Spa 24. Let me know any of yours in the comment section down below, especially if you're there at the event. I had some friends who were there for the event, and when they showed the thermometers inside of the track reaching 44 degrees, it was... wow. I do not envy them. And we were still having the heat wave up here at that time. Anyways, till next time, folks, as always, bye for now.